Today we're looking at a story in the Book of Mosiah.
Yeah, the story of a prophet named Abinadi.
Abinadi and his interactions with King Noah and his priests.
Mm-hmm. A story about confrontation.
About accountability.
That's right. And about the courage to speak truth to power.
Even when it's dangerous.
It's so fascinating how this story unfolds right from the beginning.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, look at Mosiah chapter 12, verse 1.
Oh yeah.
It tells us Abinadi came among them in disguise, yea, and began to prophesy among them, saying, Thus saith the Lord.
So he's in disguise.
Yeah, after 2 years of absence.
Wow.
To deliver this message that would shake their society.
That definitely sets the stage for a dramatic encounter.
Right.
And Abinadi doesn't waste any time in delivering his message.
No, he does.
He paints this stark picture
Yes.
of the consequences of their wickedness.
He uses some very powerful imagery.
Yeah, to convey the severity of God's judgment.
That's right. In Mosiah 12.2, he warns, This generation, because of their iniquities, shall be brought into bondage, and shall be smitten on the cheek, yea, and shall be driven by men, and shall be slain. And the vultures of the air, and the dogs, yea, and the wild beasts shall devour their flesh.
Those are some pretty vivid descriptions.
And these aren't empty threats.
Yeah.
This is a prophet
Speaking on behalf of God.
laying out the consequences of their actions.
And it's not just general warnings about their society.
Uh-huh.
He gets very specific
He does.
about King Noah's fate.
Yeah.
Look at Mosiah 12.3.
Okay.
He says, The life of King Noah shall be valued even as a garment in a hot furnace, for he shall know that I am the Lord.
That's a striking image.
Oh yeah, a garment in a hot furnace.
It really speaks to that intensity of God's judgment
The complete destruction.
that awaits those who persist in wickedness.
And he doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
He also compares Noah to a dry stalk
Yes.
to be trampled underfoot.
And a thistle blown away by the wind.
Wow, in Mosiah 12.11, 2012.
Yeah.
So clearly, Abinadi isn't holding back,
He's not pulling any punches.
even if it means putting himself in danger.
Right.
But how do King Noah and his people react to this?
You know, I'm guessing they don't welcome this prophecy
I wouldn't think so.
with open arms instead of reflecting on their actions
Yeah.
and considering the truth of Abinadi's words.
Mm-hmm.
They lash out in anger and denial.
So they don't take it well.
No, in Mosiah 12.1316,
Okay.
we see them claiming to be strong and prosperous,
They denying any wrongdoing.
and they accuse Abinadi of lying.
Oh, wow.
They're blinded by their pride.
They refuse to acknowledge the reality of their situation.
They really do.
So the classic kill the messenger
Yeah, they'd rather silence the voice of truth.
than confront their own failings.
Exactly. But it seems like the priests take a different approach.
How so?
They try to discredit Abinadi
Oh,
by
yeah.
using scripture against him.
Interesting.
They bring up a passage from Isaiah
Okay.
in Mosiah 12.20-24, hoping to trap him in his own words.
So they're trying to expose him as a fraud.
That's right. It's a tactic we see repeated throughout history
Yeah, twisting scripture.
to serve one's own purposes.
And to silence those who challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
So does it work?
Does Abinadi fall for their trap?
Right.
Not at all.
Okay.
Abinadi brilliantly turns their own questions back on them.
He does.
Yeah. In Mosiah 12.25, he retorts, And now I say unto you, who shall declare his generation? Why, the Lord. For out of Zion shall forth his law, and out of Jerusalem his word. But behold, the wicked reject the truth, and they will not prefer that the Lord shall visit them in his anger.
Wow. So he exposes their hypocrisy?
Yeah,
He highlights their failure to live up to the very laws they claim to teach.
he does.
They focus on the letter of the law
Uh-huh.
while neglecting the spirit of the law.
Exactly. He points to their lavish clothing,
Okay.
their multiple wives and concubines,
Right.
their obsession with wealth and status.
All clear violations of God's commandments.
Yes, in Mosiah 12.28-29.
So he's not saying the law itself is bad.
Right.
He's challenging their shallow understanding of it.
He's challenging their focus on outward rituals.
Neglecting the weightier matters of the heart.
Exactly.
So it becomes this clash between true righteousness
Yes.
and empty ritualism.
A battle between a prophet who speaks truth.
And those who cling to power and tradition.
Yeah, and this confrontation over the true meaning of the law of Moses.
Okay.
This is where things get even more heated. These priests, they're adamant.
About what?
That following the law of Moses is the only path.
Salvation.
Exactly. They cling to this belief as a shield to deflect Abinadi's accusations.
But Abinadi,
Yeah.
he doesn't let them off that easy, does he?
He does not. He challenges this simplistic view, pointing out that true obedience goes beyond just outward actions.
So he probes their understanding.
Yes, in Mosiah 12.31. He asks, "And it shall come to pass that ye shall be smitten for your iniquities, for ye have said that ye teach the law of Moses. And what know ye concerning the law of Moses? Doth salvation come by the law of Moses? What say you?"
So he's really questioning them.
He is. How do they respond?
Yeah, what do they say?
They double down.
On their position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Declaring in Mosiah 12.32 that salvation did come by the law of Moses.
That sets up an interesting theological discussion.
It really does. What happens next?
Yeah.
Abinadi dismantles their flawed understanding.
How so?
Well, he reminds them of the Ten Commandments, the very heart of the law of Moses, quoting directly from Scripture. Mosiah 12.33-37. He recites, "Thou shalt have no other God before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image."
Powerful words.
Then he drives home the point with his powerful question.
What does he ask?
"Have ye done all this? I say unto you, nay, ye have not. And have ye taught this people that they should do all these things? I say unto you, nay, ye have not."
It's a brilliant strategy.
It is by using their own scriptures against them. Abinadi exposes that gap
between their words
and their actions.
They've twisted the law
to suit their own desires,
neglecting its true spirit and purpose.
Yes, he's demonstrating that true adherence to God's commandments is what brings salvation.
Not just a superficial understanding of the law.
He's arguing for a change of heart.
A deep and sincere commitment to God's will. So Abinadi is advocating for something
much more profound
than simply ticking boxes.
Yes.
And following the letter of the law.
He's calling for a transformation of the heart.
A complete alignment with God's will. What's so fascinating is that this message resonates just as powerfully today.
It does.
As it did back then.
We live in a world where outward appearances
often take precedence over genuine character.
Social media profiles, projecting an image that may not reflect reality.
It's a timeless message.
It is.
About the importance of integrity.
Of aligning our actions with our belief.
Cultivating that inner compass
that
guides us even when no one is watching.
That's a much deeper level of commitment.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It requires constant effort.
Self-reflection.
A willingness to be transformed from the inside out.
This is the essence of Abinadi's message.
Yeah.
Genuine obedience goes beyond outward actions.
It demands a transformation of the heart.
And a sincere commitment to God's will. So how do the priests and King Noah respond to this?
Do they see the error of their ways?
Or do they double down on their resistance?
They're blinded by pride.
And consumed by that desire.
To maintain their power.
Rather than heeding his warnings.
They choose to silence the voice of truth.
And suffer the consequences.
In Mosiah 12.37, Abinadi proclaims, "And now I finish my words."
This marks a turning point.
It does.
In the story.
A moment where the consequences of their choices
become clear.
It's a reminder that we always have a choice.
To embrace truth.
Even when it's difficult.
Or to reject it and suffer the consequences.
And the consequences for King Noah and his priests,
they're pretty dire.
Their rejection of Abinadi's message leads to their downfall and the destruction of their kingdom.
It's an illustration of the principle.
That we reap what we sow.
Tragic ending.
But it highlights the courage and unwavering faith of Abinadi.
Even in the face of persecution.
He remains steadfast in his commitment to God's truth.
He's willing to sacrifice his own life.
Rather than compromise his principles.
It's an inspiration.
To all of us.
We can choose righteousness.
Even when it's difficult.
We can stand up for what we believe in.
Even when we face opposition.
His example shows that one person's courage and unwavering faith
can make a difference.
Inspire others to seek truth.
To challenge injustice.
And to work towards a better world.
Abinadi's story is a message of hope.
Even in the face of darkness and despair.
We can choose to be a light.
Be a beacon of hope.
A force for good in the world.
It's been an inspiring conversation.
It has.
We hope that by exploring this story
from the Book of Mosiah,
we've sparked some deeper reflection
on what it means to live a life of righteousness,
to embrace truth, and to have the courage to stand up for what's right,
even when it's difficult.